Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril.
Tolkien's legacy in the fantasy genre is unquestionable, and Amazon's Rings of Power has turned out to be a billion-dollar tribute to the franchise. The response for the first season was overwhelming, but so was the criticism for the way certain characters were handled. Now, the highly anticipated trailer of Season 2 of The Rings of Power has finally been unveiled, and this big-budget venture seems to have left no stones unturned to treat the viewers with some grand visuals. The trailer did run into some mixed reviews, with many Tolkien fans calling it a laughingstock, but we have to wait and watch how things really turn out to be. As of now, we want to draw your attention to all the new characters that can be introduced in the second season, and this video will also look into the new members of the cast who have been finalized for this season. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. A quick Season 1 recap. For those who aren't familiar with Rings of Power, the narrative acts as a prequel to the highly popular Lord of the Rings series, and it is more of a backstory of Middle-earth's Second Age, and also the Dark Lord Sauron. The first season deals with several minute details of the fantasy mythology lore created by Tolkien, and it uses references from The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books, as well as the Silmarillion. Thus, much of the narrative is based on interpretation of Tolkien's vision of Middle-earth, and the first season introduces key characters like Galadriel and Sauron, disguised as Halbrand. He manages to fool Galadriel the whole time, and it is only at the end of the first season that his real identity is revealed. He offers Galadriel to serve alongside him, but the latter refuses, and from the looks of the trailer of Season 2, the evil Lord of Darkness is back in action. The first season also introduces a mysterious character, the Stranger, who can be seen among the Harfoots who will later evolve into the Hobbit. It is shown that the Stranger is actually the Istar, or the Wise One with magical powers. He may or may not be Gandalf, and we expect to see more of him in Season 2. Another crucial part of the Season 1 narrative are the events taking place in the island kingdom of Numenor, which has been long isolated and eventually sends out soldiers into the Middle-earth. Elrond's interaction with the dwarf prince Durin, his wife, and his father, the king, is also a key factor, because this will eventually lead to the fate of the Rings of Power. The subtle hints to the rise of the evil and the final moments that explore the true horrors that await Middle-earth are some of the major factors behind the interest in Season 2. The first season tries to explore a vast narrative through a few episodes, and we expect more order and chronology during the second.
I can no longer see him from afar.
Gandalf the Grey did not pass the border.
Will we see Galadriel's husband Celeborn in Season 2? You know, there is a rumor that has a lot of fuel because of the subtle hints dropped by the actress playing Galadriel in various interviews. A conversation between Galadriel and Theo in The Rings of Power Episode 7 reveals more about Celeborn, and Galadriel tells Theo about how she was married to Celeborn and how the last she saw of him was before the Great War. However, Galadriel simply says that she never saw him after the war and never uses the word dead. It's also worth noting that Galadriel and Celeborn have a daughter named Celebrian, who later becomes the wife of Elrond. We haven't seen Celebrian yet, and it has not been revealed if Galadriel had a daughter before her husband left for the Great War. We expect to see Galadriel's husband in the second season, and in case he's absent, there can be a new love interest introduced for the character. As one of the primary female leads in the show, it's unlikely that her story arc will be left incomplete for too long, and one of the fine actors joining the cast can step into the role of her husband. Showrunners have hinted at the appearance of Kiran in Season 2. A lot is spilled during interviews conducted by the cast members and showrunners, and this is one secret that may or may not have been disclosed intentionally. Patrick McKay said in an interview that Círdan will be a character in Season 2, and he is a ring bearer. This character was active during the Second Age, when Sauron managed to deceive the elves and get the Rings of Power forged. One of the 3 elven Rings of Power was given to Círdan, who was one of the wisest and oldest elves in Middle-earth. In Tolkien's lore, Círdan eventually surrenders the ring to Gandalf, and we are eager to find out how his role is fit into the upcoming second season.
Prepare yourselves.
Which actors from Season 1 are expected to make a comeback in the second season? As is the case with most well-established shows and franchise, the second season of The Rings of Power will see many of the original cast members reprising their roles. The likes of Morfydd Clark as Galadriel, Ismael Cruz Cordova as Arondir, Charles Vickers as Sauron, Daniel Wayman as the Stranger, Charles Edwards as Celebrimbor, and Robert Aramayo as Elrond are some of the familiar faces who can be seen in the upcoming season. Apart from them, many other less impactful characters will also be seen in Season 2, even though the extent of their roles is debatable, and they might not have as much screen time now that the story is supposed to pick up the pace. Who is the new actor playing Adar? Adar, the elf-turned-orc, is one of the most terrifying and important characters in Season 1, and the role was played by Joseph Mawle. Although he did a fine job, the actor left the show before the second season, and now it looks like someone else has been roped in to fill in his shoes. Sam Hazeldine, who is often known for his recurring role in Peaky Blinders and his appearance in The Sandman, is going to play the role of Adar, and it remains to be seen how his narrative unfolds in Season 2, now that Sauron is out in the open and threatening the peace and prosperity of Middle-earth. Who are the new faces in the cast of The Rings of Power Season 2? The Lord of the Rings lore is so extensive that there are simply too many characters involved in the multiple storylines that run parallel to each other. It's not surprising that a series based on this lore will require a large cast, and even after most actors are returning in their respective roles in Season 2, some prominent names have been signed up for major roles in Season 2, but none of them has actually appeared in the trailer, and it's too early for us to speculate on their characters because nothing has been announced yet. However, it's still an exciting prospect to see such talented actors in the mix, and we hope that the upcoming season will do justice to their talent. Kiran Hine. This will be a familiar face for the Game of Thrones fans because the actor played the role of Mance Rayder, the Wildling King, in the series. Given his reputation as a prolific actor, it's unlikely that the Rings of Power will hand him a minor role and expect some major responsibilities on his shoulders. Kiran Hines will have a recurring role in the upcoming season, and we will put our money on him, essaying a negative character against the likes of Galadriel. Rory Kinnear. This is another interesting addition to the cast, and his role in the series is closely kept under the wrap. The actor has been previously seen in Black Mirror, The Diplomat, and his role in the movie Ken has been appreciated by the fans and critics alike. You can expect another major recurring character handed to Rory Kinnear as he steps into this fantasy world. Other major cast members roped in for Season 2. Aside from the big names in the cast, other notable actors who have bagged roles in the show are Ben Daniels, whom you may know from House of Cards and The Crown. You'll also get to see the likes of Tanya Moody, Stuart Bowman, Oliver Alvin Wilson, William Chubb, and Kevin Eldon. Callum Lynch, Selena Lowe, Nia Toll, and Will Keen are some of the other actors who will be seen in the show. And at least in terms of acting talent, The Rings of Power will definitely not be lacking. Marvelous verdict. Will the huge gamble for Prime Video pay off? When Amazon Prime came up with a $465 million budget for Season 1 of Rings of Power, it was a make-or-break moment for the investors. After the majorly warm reception, it looks like the showrunners have now broken their past records, and the second season is all set to touch a budget of almost $1 billion. Of course, with such high investments, the expectations are high, and the narrative has to do a lot more than impressing the fans with grand visuals and special effects. The iconic Lord of the Rings trilogy is still regarded as the finest adaptation of Tolkien's works, and the movies received all the love for a fraction of this budget. The response to the trailer has not been the best, given how many have questioned the authenticity of the show and the intention of the makers to be true to Tolkien's work. If the execution is not handled properly, the second season can fall flat on its face. That will make the upcoming seasons all the more challenging. As of now, though, it's a waiting game to find out if the gamble really pays off. And if it doesn't, well, we always have the classics from the books to the trilogy to fall back on. We would love to hear your opinion on the trailer of the second season of Rings of Power. And also tell us about your favorites among the new cast members who have joined the show. Will the second season be worth all the hype? Or is it just going to collapse under the burden of expectations? We will find that out in a few months. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone!